In this video, we are going to be talking about Noah and the flood. Now, this is probably the most well-known things that's happened in the Bible, which people like to point out as being, wow, if God is all this, why did he cause this flood? And a lot of the time, people who are saying that haven't the read from the start. They've just realised, okay, God flooded the earth and that was that, but doesn't actually realise the background to it and why he actually did it. So, as I always do, I recommend that you seriously read from the beginning of Genesis to get the full idea. I'm just going to summarise it. But yeah, so basically, God creates the earth, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve sin, they eat from the tree of knowledge. God curses them, kicks them out. Adam and Eve have two children, that's Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel because Cain's jealous. Cain gets kicked out, but God basically sort of protects him. He basically says if anyone comes to avenge and kill him, he will avenge them and basically kill them, basically. And then Cain decides to build a city, and that's where it goes downhill. So, as I said, I recommend that you read it for yourself. But basically, the earth starts to multiply, but not in the way that God wants it to multiply. So basically, people were literally taking wives, and so basically, the whole idea is that if you read from Genesis is, when you have a wife, Adam and Eve, so you're separate people, but then you become one. During this time, how they multiply, and they were just doing it basically. Multiple wives, just it wasn't for the right reasons basically. And the earth was just full of wickedness. It was basically completely corrupt. But I am gonna pick up a verse. So this is in Genesis 6, and this is from verse 5. This just highlights what God was kind of feeling in his heart. So he says, then the Lord saw the wickedness of man and was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he made man on earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man who I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping things and animals, things and birds of the air. For I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. So before he even came across Noah, he was just going to wipe everything out. But then he saw some hope in Noah, and if you've read the story, if you've read the Bible, you know the whole story, you will know that it doesn't really go to plan. But the main point is that the earth was corrupt. Like, if you read from the beginning and how God created the earth and how God wanted the earth to be, and then as soon as it just started to go downhill, and again to highlight the fact that at this point it was just full on corrupt. People were just, it was pure evil on this earth, and God was like, I need a reset. I need a reset. So was it just? Yes, it was just. It was completely just. And I recommend if people like have things like, because a lot of this is people who are not in, obviously that aren't in Christianity, and think the Noah story, because it's quite popular. It's very I don't want to say commercialized, but every most non-believers know the story of Noah. I do recommend that you actually read like the full kind of lead up to why he did it, basically. But yeah, that is basically the reason why he flooded the earth, because there was no going back. There was no way that he could have helped them in any sort of way, and the only way was to literally just do a reset, just do a completely earth reset, which he then did later on, which I did a video on Babylon. But yeah, that's it. So it was a just situation that he did, and you got to remember you imagine creating it. I always think of this, but imagine you create something. Like, you created the world, it's all beautiful, and then you just see your creation just go completely downhill, and you think to yourself, why is this happening? Like, literally, every time I read, like, especially Isaiah, I can't remember if I mentioned this on here. Isaiah, I literally wept because I felt the brokenness of how God was feeling when the people just turned away from him. Because you imagine you create something to love you, and it just, and it goes completely wrong. But yeah, that is basically it for this video.